Okay, cool, 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 cool. That was muted for a while, but you should be able to hear me now. Let's see when this thing is live. Yeah, it turns. Yeah. Boom.
Keep the enemy busy while a fellow Tenno operative raids the ship for supplies. Ready? Trigger the alarm.
Okay, I think you guys should be able to hear me now. So we had some audio issues with the last one, so we're doing this one again. Just skip ahead a little bit, but we're pretty good now. We're gonna talk about the Sinners, the actual review of the movie. So let's just do like a quick overview of what Sinners is. Sinners is like a horror type of movie, and it's got vampires, no zombies there, but it's not even got hates like that lady said. It just got vampires and music, and it's just a good vibe, beautiful cinematography, good effects that they use. It wasn't that scary per se, but it was just an enjoyable watch, and let's get into it. First half of the movie was pretty boring, but until we get to the climax of what actually happens inside of the movie, it was pretty lackluster. We just established ourselves inside of the Jim Crow era. We have a lot of racism going on, a lot of people not being paid well, a lot of what seems like, even with that scene of the guy that was drinking a lot, and he says, those guys? And he's like, oh, I know every single one of those guys. Spoiler alert, this is going to have spoilers for the movies. This is obviously the review of the movie, and we're going to be all over the place, but it's going to be a fun one. Okay? We're going to be following Sammy, the preacher's boy, the preacher's son, and his adventures in becoming a musician. That's kind of what the whole movie is about, actually. And what I really love especially is the beginning, how it talks about the poem that says that there's griots or firebirds or whatever that can split the veil between life and death and the past, present, and future. And we see that later on. Okay, but let me first discuss about what I thought the movie was going to be like. Because there's one quote from the movie that is specific. Okay, it talks about, that specifically says that if you dance to the devil, you're going to end up taking it home, or something like that. And that's like what we saw in the trailer. Like, the whole journey of Sinners actually starts off with the trailer. I wasn't too keen to watch Sinners, like, cause especially it's called Sinners, and I was thinking, why would I watch a movie like this? But, excuse me. But I just decided to give it a watch, and that was kind of how it went. Because so many people were talking about it, and I was thinking, let me give a review for this. Let me give a real review for this, because I'm known for doing good reviews. This is kind of my thing. I've not done one in a while, but we're back to doing this thing again. So let's just talk about the first half. We're going to split this into the first half of the movie and then the second half of the movie. If you get bored or whatever, skip ahead, and then if you're rewatching this, just skip ahead, and then we'll be talking about the second half of the movie. So the first half is kind of just establishing, I already said this before, establishing where we're at. We're not slaves, but we are in the Jim Crow era, where there's a lot of things that's happening. People are not happy with what's happening, and that's just, it's just sad. Racism, not good. So that's one message that Ryan Coogler is trying to give to us. Racism is not good. So just keep that in mind as we continue on with this. So Sammy goes into the church, is all battered and bruised, scarred up, and his father's like, "Oh, come in, my son. Let's, my son has returned." Tells him to drop the guitar, and we kind of flash back to the previous day, and the stuff that happens on the previous day is what sets up the climax. we see that it's all just about the Smokestack twins. They in town. They buy a mill for what they need to do, and they buy it from a clansman actually, and that clansman is not a reliable guy. Let's just say that, okay? He's not a reliable guy, okay? Well, obviously you don't be doing deals with clansmen, so that's why they say if you see your kind here, okay, well, your shoe is gonna be on sight, my guy. It's gonna be on sight, my nigga. That's what they said. And he's like, hey, you ain't gonna see us here. In fact, the clan isn't even active. Lies, 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 lies. The clan is very active. Okay? But so they're setting things up for the Duke. They go into town to pick up Sammy, and Sammy is like, "Hey, let's do this." His father's like, "You're gonna be play music for who? People with their sweaty bodies all over the place, eh? Is that your plan? Is that your plan, my son?" And obviously Sammy's like, "Oh, don't worry, pops. I'm gonna be back soon." So when they're doing that thing to kill a snake, I don't even know what the symbolism of the snake is that is or when they kill it. I'm guessing maybe because it was sitting on the Duke that they should have done it next week or something like that, like they said, or it just kind of was a bad omen. I thought it was a bad omen personally, but I don't really know because I'm not Ryan Coogler. I didn't write. I'm just guessing. But I'm gonna say it was a bad omen and basically being like they should have delayed it. But they're all thinking, like the brothers were saying, let's really just start it off right now. Let's do what we can. And there's no need to there's no need to delay what we're doing. Just go straight ahead and smash this thing out. That was kind of what they're doing. So one brother goes with Sammy into town, and the other one goes another place to be with his baby mama who lost the baby. Who I'm also gonna call a witch, you know, because she'd be doing all this black magic stuff. And you know, one of the expositions of the story is, where have the boys been? How did they get famous? How are they so known like that? Because even when I went into town, Stack was like, "Hey, little girl, come over here." You know who the Smokestack twins are? And she's a child. That means that the legend of them has gone out for quite some time, and she knew who she was, put us to some tasks, and then we understand some things there. One lesson I learned from the task that he gave her is that you gotta negotiate your prices. You gotta negotiate prices. You know, you gotta be negotiating prices. And that's something I use in real life as well. Whenever you want to buy, sell, or whatever, you got to negotiate to get the best prices. And that's pretty good. It's pretty good. While they're there, they see Mary, you know, a light-skinned mixed girl. And, you know, she says some not safe for work things, maybe not safe for YouTube things.
Life support activated.
And Sammy, you know, has a hankering for some flesh. He has a hankering for some flesh. Married flesh. And we'll talk about some of that stuff later on when we get to the climax. But then this is when we get to the beginning, what I call the beginning of the climax. There's the movie is actually put into three phases. Phase 1 is the setup. Phase 2 is the setup for the setup. Which I'm going to get into now. Phase 3 is what's actually happening. Okay, so setup for the setup is the main guy of the vampire. We don't know where he came from, we don't know where he's going to, we don't know what his mission is, like where these guys come from, but we see him running away from his Indians. I watched the movie in French, so I don't know exactly what the subtitles were, but I'm a guess. So the French guys are just trying to say the French guys, the Indians, are trying to just get rid of the vampire. They tell the lady, hey, don't hope you didn't let that guy in. It's not what he seems like because he came all burnt from the sun, and it was like I need to. I lost my wife. All this made up story. Made up story. And then that was just kind of what happened. They let him in, they killed both of them, turned them into vampires, and boom. That's very important, but it's just a setup for the setup. Setup for the setup, not the main thing. So, here we are.
Life support activated.
Here we are, the Duke has started. Everyone's vibing, but they're really making money, and they're not really making too much real money on the books because they're working people from the Jim Crow era who basically, I'm going to say, basically still slaves. Basically still slaves. Because they're not getting paid that much, they're just getting paid their wages. And you know the thing, that like, if you're only getting paid enough to feed and house yourself, you're basically a slave. Because when you have a slave, you gotta feed and house them, and now you transfer that to money, and then you only get paid enough to feed and house yourself. You're pretty much still a slave. So that's kind of how it was. Yeah. We'll still be getting. Let me not move into modern day slavery, but that's a topic for a whole nother day. If you guys want me to get into it, just comment down below. But let's take a quick break. I want you guys to tell me what you think about the movie. Actually, what your thoughts about the movie. Was it good? Was it bad? Did you like it? Like, just tell me what you think about it. All in all, I'm just curious. You know, because I'll tell you what the truth is about the movie, and I'll reveal some things you might not have known have happened. You know, in the movie. So that's kind of, not just kind of, that is my job. That's my job, is to reveal these things and tell you the truth. Tell you the truth that you may not have seen before. So before we get into the main part, someone said that the thing was rushed. And I'm thinking, was it really rushed? Is that really the case? I kind of felt like they just set up everything well. They could have done it, you know, taken it longer or whatever, but it's just a movie, and we expect things to go at a certain pace. That's one thing I can give them, that if it was done over quite some time, the movie's still going to take 2.5 hours, no matter what type of pace they go at. So, as for rushed, I don't really see it, though. I don't really see it. So let's return. Now, back at the Jeep, they don't really have money on the books. So then Mary says, Mary kind of ruined everything, you know, because if she wasn't there, then a lot of these things wouldn't have happened. If she wouldn't have gone out, they would have had a successful juke night. Everyone would just be vibing. They wouldn't have let white people in ever. They wouldn't even consider Linda like white people in. But you know, it's just how it is when you let these mix races. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Obviously, that's a joke. But it's what happens with mixed races. That's, you know, you get consequences. Yeah. So once Mary goes out to try to get some real money on the books, she sees that they got money, they got gold, they got real stuff, and then she also somehow sees that they're actually bad guys. You know, they just, you know, they're just trying to, they were slobbering everywhere, all that type of stuff, and then she was like, nah, you guys are too crazy, you guys are too weird. But then the guy just starts floating. He just starts floating. And then obviously we don't see it, but we know that she got before she comes back in. And me having watched the memes earlier on, I know that they'll be talking about people can't be coming in without having permission. And then Mary comes in and says, "Aren't you gonna let me in?" And
life support has been replenished.
You know, she kind of does what she's doing. But before then, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's my boy Sabby. My boy Sabby and that married lady. I do not support. Not because obviously you shouldn't be doing some adulterous things, but like what he did after she said she didn't wash and she'd be hiking and still went down on her like that. Not a good thing to do, Sabby. Not a good thing to do, Sabby. You need to do other things. You know, make them work for it. Make them earn it. You know, you don't just be going down on every single person you be seeing. That's not good. It's not good. I know you wanted to practice what your cousin showed you earlier on. Well, come on, Sam. You know, there's other things, and there's other things to do. So here we are. Mary's turned into a vampire, but no one really knows it yet. She goes in, she vibing with Stack. Things just kind of move in. She kind of tempts him, and then boom, she strikes and kills him and turns him into a vampire. Now, Witch Lady says, hey, we need to move the body outside. And she doesn't explain, but I don't blame her because she doesn't fully understand what she's working with at that point. No one really knows what they're working with at that point. No one knows what they're working with at that point. So, but she just knows it needs to be done. But she doesn't explain, which is like, you know, if she explained, maybe, you know, things would have been different. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, she didn't really fully know who she was working with, so she couldn't really say it. But if she tried to explain a little bit like that, that would have helped out. That really would have helped out. But she just didn't, and that's kind of how it went. But the guy ends up turning into another zombie, a vampire, and then it just goes kind of downhill. I don't know why he didn't stay in the place. I also don't know why Mary didn't stay in the place and just turn more people into vampires and says I'll be back. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe they need to get back to the source. I got no idea. But like, I understand that they threw some garlic on Stack and he ran out. But still, it doesn't make sense why they had to run out. They could have stayed and done some things. This is the Ultimate Sinners review. We're live. Okay, you can come join me. I'll be finished soon. Yeah. So that's what we got with that's my understanding from those people that got turned into zombies. Into vampires. Haints. They ain't haints yet. But at first I thought they were haints.
Life support activated.
Anyway, so what's it called? Cornbread. That guy need to go pee.
Life support has been replenished.
And got turned into a vampire, and then we then see it for the first time amongst everybody. Obviously, I'll say it later on. So I'm just all over the place. But we see it when Smoke tries to pay him money, and then boom, Cornbread couldn't come inside. Cornbread tries to bite him. He shoots him, and then he needs to quickly get back inside. And we clearly see that, yeah, that those guys was not. Those guys were not it. At the same time, the Chinese man should not have gone out after seeing Mary go like that. He should have known it was dangerous outside, but it is what it is. Now here comes the main thing. When everyone saw that those guys couldn't come in, all they had to do was just chill. Like the drunk guy said, that like his corn wine. Like the drunk guy said, they didn't seem like they're going anywhere, except Chinese lady had to then be like, ask everyone to come in, and she did not represent China well at all. You know, China known for being strong, communism, all that type of stuff. She just had to jeopardize everybody
All share in this
like that.
Hold out as
Not
long
cool.
as you can.
Not cool. And then she brings them all in, even though they want you to just stayed and chilled and not done too much there. She just brings them in, and she thinks that they're gonna overpower them. I don't know how. There was way too many of them, especially after they told everybody to leave the place. There was way too many of them, and that's not something that I believe that they really actually should have won. They should not have won. Actually, the vampires should have actually gotten everybody. But yeah, because one discrepancy that also doesn't make sense is why the heck was Stack able to fight Smoke evenly when Stack was a vampire? Maybe it should have just been a very easy one-sided thing, except it didn't seem that way for some reason. It seemed like there was something else. And I was like, nah, that don't be making sense. The only thing that don't make sense is since when do vampires start making deals? Because they made a deal, so we don't actually see Stack die, but we assume he died, but apparently they made a deal instead. So I'm thinking, since when do vampires making deals with people to not kill other people like that? Like that's it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. So, but continuing on, Sammy is able to actually get out of the place once the Chinese lady decides that she
extraction is your best option.
Yeah, when she decides that she wants to let everybody in, going against China, going against the people, doing all that type of stuff that's not too cool. And just betraying everybody.
Life support has been replenished.
That was a bad idea on her end. Anyway, so she decides to do that. Sammy. So I'm just rewinding the movie in my head. Give me a second. So Sammy escapes. Sammy escapes. Yep, and he tries to. Yep. Okay, Sammy escapes. He tries to then fight off against the vampires. He realizes he doesn't have that much that option. He then starts saying the Lord's Prayer, and the vampires also start saying the Lord's Prayer with him, which is pretty crazy. Because normally, obviously, in movies like stuff like that don't normally work, but they just to show you the strength of the vampire. Strong,
has been replenished.
Big strong. Yeah, but then don't worry, your older cousin comes in at the last second and fixes everything like a solid guy. That's what happened. Smoke comes in, helps to kill the guy. The sun rises, and then everything's good. And then Sammy was able to then get back to church, like we saw in the beginning of the movie. Lives a good life. Stack and Mary come see him later on, talk about the promise he did, and then that's kind of the end of the movie. Now the main thing is that what do we now have we learned from this movie? What is the meaning of the movie, other than just what we've just discussed, what we've just watched, all the type of stuff? The main thing is about the movie is good shots, good cinematography, good lighting. Is the way even that time with when the daughter calls the mom, and then the type of pacing they have to show the lady as she's moving from one place to the other place. It just made sense. I loved the dialogue in it. It was good. It was enjoyable. Even though putting it together, putting all the pieces together, some of the whole is greater than some of the parts. Putting it all together, it didn't make logical sense because of the the things I pointed out before about how there's they're making deals with the vampires, and how the vampire is just as strong as the person. Just doesn't make sense. So but I love the dialogue. I mean, I enjoyed it, and that's and at the end of the day, that's kind of what matters. Was the show enjoyable to watch? Yes. Was the cinematography was the cinematography good? Yes. Did we is this something you can have in the background? Absolutely. It's one of those things that I think is going to be there, but I don't think it's going to stand the test of time and be like an Inception, or Interstellar, or a Black Panther, or Creed. It's just going to be one of those movies. It's not going to stand the test of time and be or a Batman. You know, it's not going to be.
Additional life support has arrived.
It's not going to stand the test of, or Godfather. Obviously not a Godfather, but it's not going to stand the test of time and be a classic movie in its own right. It's just going to be one of those movies, and obviously movie critics are going to look at it and be like, this thing just, you know, it made some good money, and the reason why it made the money is because it was, at the end of the day, it wasn't enjoyable to watch. Yes, it was enjoyable to watch, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Which brings us to an even deeper lesson. Before I give the final review, the final rating, the deeper lesson. What are the lessons we can garner from this? Big obvious, racism is bad. Don't be racist. Okay? Don't be letting random people into your house.
Life support has been replenished.
Don't be doing none of that. Don't let vampires into your house. You know, and you know, one thing I do like is the discussion of a high power, God. That's something that is something that is
another
discussed.
Life support capsule is now available.
That was actually helped out Sammy. Because going back to the church, showing that it's a safe place, is something that you can actually be doing, and you know, listen to your parents. You know, those are all very, very good lessons that are within the movie. I didn't even get to mention how Smoke died. Literally as soon as I saw him seeing his other side, I was like, this boy is about to die. This boy is about to die. That was literally what I saw. And good thing he killed all those Klansmen who were about to come and kill him before he died. Not a fan of I'm not a fan of the KKK doing bad things, you know. No, this ain't no Black Klansman. that one's a pretty decent movie, by the way. So there you have it. The movie, I would have to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was a little bit above average. It wasn't a terrible movie, but like for the reasons I said below, it just can't reach the classics of what needed to be.
I've delivered
It was just successful because of the cinematography, everything that was good with it, the dialogue, Michael B. Jordan was in it. Yeah, that's kind of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope the audio was good this time, and you heard over the gameplay. But other than that, yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. We're Gucci. Gonna go extract now.
Tenno, extraction is ready. Another job well executed.
Well, catch you guys in the next one. See yous.